Okay, so I know you guys are subscribed to the autofocus channel because you want to see autofocus style videos. You didn't come here for quirks and features. If you wanted that, you would watch Doug DeMuro's videos. But the second I first saw this car and started testing it, immediately my brain just went straight to, oh, this is quirky. This has a lot of quirks and weird features. So I'm gonna do a little bit of a mix of both, because this is the MINI Countryman. It's electric, it's weird. I just reviewed, I think the Volvo EX30 might have been the last video on this channel, which was this very clean Scandinavian design, very minimal, and I liked it a lot. This is kind of like the opposite thing in the same segment. Small crossover, but a ton of weird, interesting things going on with it that you might actually like. So let's get into it. So first of all, the basics. This is not a Mini Cooper. This is kind of a big Mini, if that makes sense. It's a Countryman. It's a literal crossover SUV at this point. So it has the same like shape and proportions as those tiny Minis, but it's not as tiny. It's 2 rows, 4 doors, and it's in the same segment as the Volvo. It's starting around $41,000. Spec'd up, you can get it closer to $50,000, and for that you get a lot of, like I said, interesting features and quirks. And I mean, I've driven it for the past couple of days and really enjoyed some of them. Some of them are just character for the sake of character. It's funny, like they don't serve any purpose, but they are still interesting. And I think people who drive Minis and like Minis enjoy that type of thing. There's certain things that Minis do, which you'll see in a second, that are just, feel at home. It gets roughly 260 to 280 miles of range, depending on which spec you get, which is not bad. 150 kilowatt charging, which is also pretty middle of the range. And sitting on these 18-inch wheels. The Minis always have small wheels because they're small, because it's a Mini, but yeah, 18-inch wheels with all-season tires, and that's what we're working with. It's funny, as much as I like the color red, I typically don't love like an all-red car, but they do a good job of breaking it up here with all of the black trim and these little details on the fender, and then the white mirrors and white roof at the top, and this little cutout panel in the back that says all 4, because this is the all 4 spec with dual motors and all-wheel drive. But now it's, it's got silver wheels. It's not all red. It's kind of broken up a little bit, which is nice. And then these front DRLs, which are these big boxy colors, and then the headlight in the middle, look pretty cool. The little S is yellow. It's actually not a bad looking vehicle. Now, before I get to some of the crazy quirks and features, I will point out this is where you charge at the back left corner. And this whole vehicle is a platform that they share with the gas vehicles, meaning you can get this exact same Mini Countryman as a gas car. But this is the electric version, so there's your AC and DC CCS charging port. At the back here, you got this nice little overhang, which kind of feels like a little bit of a sporty spoiler. And then these tail lights, which you can actually customize the LEDs in. Great red reflective paint. But yeah, you can change what those LEDs do when they light up, which is kind of cool. I'll show you that on the inside. And then of course, just to show that the Countryman actually has space, there it is. There's your real trunk and a little bit of a sub trunk, always where you'll find your charging cables. But that's not bad. I mean, this is really a reasonable sized vehicle for more than just groceries or golf clubs. This is probably going to have kids in the back and all kinds of extra stuff, which is a good opportunity to show you the back seat space, because it's not bad. I mean, I've been in a Mini Cooper before and it's nothing like this. This is, I think, a little more manageable. There's a little bit of a cutout down underneath the seat with lights there to be more comfortable if I want to stick my foot under there for road trips. You also have your vents here and USB Type-C, but this column here is still here from the gas car. I don't think you need that space to be, I mean, the middle seat's not going to be great with that column right there. But 2 in the back should be totally fine. These headrests, which can flip up, you flip them down to see out the back because it's pretty shallow, but in general, pretty comfy back here. Nice sunroof, which can open. It's not bad. It's not bad, but I want to show you all the quirks and features of owning and driving this car, and that's all up front. Oh, also, I don't think this door opens wide enough. I just want a little bit of a bigger opening, but that's nitpicking. Okay, front seat. Here's where it becomes a Mini. And you see what I'm talking about. So everywhere you look in here, things are just a little bit different, and that's quirky. A lot of things. I mean, I'm just going to start with what's right in front of you, which is the steering wheel, which is it's got this little belt band in the middle, which that's certainly unusual, a little bit quirky and different. And then right behind it, there's this sort of a pattern. I don't know why, but hotel lobby comes to mind when I see this pattern. Anyway, there's an HUD, a whole bunch more interesting, unique cutouts. Not necessarily sure if they have a meaning behind them, but they're definitely different. Vertical door handle is different. And then in here is the star of the show. This is a circular, dinner plate sized OLED touchscreen. And if you've been in a Mini before, you've seen they have typically some sort of a circular dash layout in the middle, but now it's 2025, it's all digital. And you realize you don't see circular screens very often because most UIs are built to be rectangles or squares. So, you know, most of the stuff here actually makes sense, right? So this is you're swiping through the middle for most of your major applications. I have Android Auto connected right now. This is your trip meter for energy readings. You got a clock. So, okay, some things make sense as a circle, but Android Auto is a square. So they put the square inside of the circle, and then they kind of put things around the outside of the circle, your power level as you drive, your battery level, your temperature, which this is all touchscreen controls. Now below that is just a small bank of your physical controls here. Obviously all the air conditioning stuff is on screen, but down here is another couple quirky things. This is your start stop. To turn the car off, you turn it left. To turn the car back on, you turn it right, kind of like a key, which is sort of interesting. And then this is your drive mode selector. Push that down to go into drive, down again for driving with regen, or up for reverse, or park. So that's different. And then over here on the right, this is your experience selector. So I'm gonna change the mode in the car and just give it a listen, changing the experience. Go to go-kart mode. So you get a nice woohoo because this is the go-kart mode, which shows you a live G-force meter, your pound-feet of torque, and your horsepower as you're driving, and these needles move around. So, okay, this is circular. This makes sense. You, although, kind of start duplicating things. This is another power meter, and this is your battery. But that's go-kart mode, and that's the most responsive, zippiest version this all-wheel drive car will do. I think it's a 5-second 0 to 60. It feels quick. It's definitely quick. But then if you switch your experiences down to core, that's your normal drive mode. Pretty reasonable sound. But then you can also go down again to green mode, which is going to be your most efficient mode. So now your power meter over here and total battery over on the other side. And then of course it's a circle, so power again, battery again. But okay, yeah, we're making use of the circle here. Now there's a couple other modes here as well. There's the vivid mode, timeless mode, balance mode, trail mode. Each one of these modes, when you flip it into that mode, has its own sound and its own use of the circular display. I don't know that if I was in this car and if I was on a trail, if I would actually flip it to trail mode just to see my incline percentage and the percent, you know, the number of degrees of side slant and having a circular compass. Like, is that actually what I want when I'm on a trail? Not really, but it is cool that Mini's built these things in to take advantage of the circle, and that feels like a cool quirk. It's a good character trait. Either way, if you want the rest of the regular settings, you can jump in there. You can obviously flip to the HVAC settings, and that's all great. You can go home, you can go to Android Auto at any time, which will get me copyright struck immediately, and then you can make phone calls. Great. Now, of course, you can't forget the entire center of this car also is quirky from top to bottom. So first of all, you've got a little slot underneath here where you can put your phone because it's a wireless charger. You can fit one phone there. There's a little notch if you want to grab it. That's fine. Or you can put your phone down here because there's about one phone's worth of storage in there. Or you could put it down here because there's two cup holders. Or you could put it in this little box right here because there's just a little box that says Mini. It's got a latch. It magnetically opens and closes. You can put your phone in here too, or you can put it down here because there's two USB Type-C ports, and then you could do your wired charging in there. There's no storage inside this armrest. It just adjusts forward and backward. So that's actually kind of nice. You can store a larger item maybe here if you need it, but the box is also always here. I don't know. That's just I haven't seen a setup like that before, but I end up just using this armrest most of the time and putting my phone on the wireless charger. Sure. So then driving this car, like I said, this is the all-wheel drive version as you've seen, so it is a little bit more peppy and has a little bit less range than the single motor version, but it is an okay drive. It is definitely, so first thing I like is it is pretty smooth. It has the 18-inch wheels with the big sidewall. You can go up to like 20-inch wheels, which I think it would also probably be fine on. The suspension's pretty soft. I do want to give some feedback on the pedal calibration. There are two drive modes like you saw, basically. There is drive, which has automatic regen, and the automatically added regen when a car pulls in front of you. It can get pretty strong. I find it difficult to get calibrated to this automatically changing regen. It goes from coasting to braking without me doing anything. It's weird. So then you can drive with regen on all the time by going to B mode. Liftoff regen is strong. I just don't love the auto regen. But the other thing I want to give feedback on is the brake pedal. There's like no braking at the top of the pedal. Like the first inch or two of travel of the brake pedal doesn't do much, and then you get on the brakes and then suddenly you're braking harder. So I would have liked a little bit more of an even brake pedal, maybe a little bit more bite at the top of the pedal. But in general, the rest of that, it's pretty light. It feels smooth and planted, and honestly, no issues with the rest of driving this car. You get used to having a square map on your circular display. You get used to having the HUD right in front of you with your speed. I don't know if you can see this. I'll try to show you, but down here, it actually mirrors what's happening on this display by your mode. It's kind of blinking, but I feel like you can actually kind of see that. Shout out to the iPhone 16 Pro's camera. But yeah, no, it is generally actually roomier than you expect a Mini to be, and it's fun to drive. Also, I want to show you this. You remember I said you could customize the taillight design? Here's how you do that. You go to exterior lighting, and then on the back here, you actually have to turn the car off to do this, but you can go, yes, goodbye guest. You can hit this button over here, and then there's 3 different rear light patterns. That, or that. Classic, favorite, or John Cooper works. And this, yeah, this is the actual spec with the white roof and the red paint, which is pretty cool. But yeah, you can literally change the way the lights look. So that's cool. I wish I could like dial in my own tail light looks. I can't, but I can at least choose between the ones that are in here. So that's another quirk. What other car are you out here changing the tail light patterns on? So look, as far as choices to actually buy something in this category, this is a small electric car in the $40,000 to $50,000 range, and it happens to be a little bit higher off the ground. It's in the sort of mini crossover area. And there are others that are going to be a better deal. I think a Model 3 is probably a better deal. And there are others that might personally appeal to you more. Like for me personally, I like the Volvo EX30 a little more. You might like the Kona, you might like something else. But this, I think Mini fans are gonna love this. I think this character, this personality that it has, and all of the quirks that it has fit it super well. And the fact that it's able to pull those off in a quality way and not drive the price up too high is pretty sweet. So I think they've got a hit here. Well done, Mini. I never thought I'd say well done, Mini, but yeah, good job. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next one. Peace.